the gills or on the pores where they produce spores and create water droplets, and with hydraulic pressure, they shoot their spores out. So those are the most of the mushrooms that we eat. And we have here, I have a reishi mushroom that people can pass around. This one is just a little bit dry. This is known as the mushroom of immortality. It's been used in Asia for a few thousand years, and it was highly renowned back in the early days of when people in Asia started utilizing reishi. It was only used by emperors or people of high stature in the moral classes, because it was very rare to come across, and people have only been cultivating mushrooms for only a few thousand years. In Western civilization, we've only been cultivating mushrooms for a few hundred years. Starting in Europe, in Paris, they started cultivating the button mushrooms in caves and on compost from the farms. And here we have a shiitake mushroom. It's a little bit deformed, and I've been traveling with it, so. But that is a shiitake mushroom that forced fruited. These are one of the things that I like to let people know, is that even though I cultivate fungi, I really have no control over the fungi, and I feel like they're more interacting with me than I'm interacting with them. But that mushroom fruited on its own. I didn't want it to come out. I wasn't ready to start making mushrooms, but it decided that it wanted to make a mushroom. So they do their own thing. So fungi, their body, the mushroom is actually, a lot of people think that the mushroom is actually what the organism is, but the mushroom is only a reproduction organ or a sexual organ of the organism. Mushrooms or fungi are what we see here. This white stuff growing on inside of my jar, it's growing on grains. Usually, a lot of mycologists will grow their fungi on grains. Those are growing on organic rye grains. We use organic materials to make sure that there's no fungicides on our materials that we're growing our mushrooms on. So the fungi that you see on your bread, like the green or black fungi, they form mycelia or mycelium. They send out hyphae, and the hyphae are individual thread-like cellular structures that fuse with each other when they find one of the same species. So when the spores are released from a mushroom, from the gills, two spores will land in wherever substrate, maybe in the ground, maybe on some rotting material, or fruit or something, and they'll send out one hyphae, so one little strand will come from each spore. So I'll draw a little picture to let you guys know what it looks like. Spores, kind of like the seed. They have the spores, they're usually black. They have a really hard shell, some of the most durable material known to man. These material on the outside of the spore can withstand the vacuum of space, and can withstand some of the coldest extreme temperatures and some of the hottest extreme temperatures. And fungi, when they release, are constantly flowing through our airstreams, and they're constantly entering and exiting our atmosphere. So this means that there's fungi coming from outer space and fungi from our planet, constantly entering and leaving our planet. So the spores, once they enter into their substrate, they'll form little webs, which are called mycelia, as one little strand. And they'll each just form one strand and network out like that until they find another one. And then once they find each other, then they form a big network, looking out and expanding through their territory. Once they've expanded through their territory, they begin to consolidate so that they don't waste any of their energy. They're very, very smart, very sentient, using mathematics and physics. They're some of the most sentient beings on our planet. They're sensitive of every step that you take. In 1 cubic inch of soil, there's about 8 miles of mycelium. So there's tons and tons of mycelium, and it's holding together all the biological land space that we have.
Did you say 1 cubic inch?
1 cubic inch, 8 miles of mycelium together. These little strands, all in the little amount of soil, and they hold everything together. And they consolidate once they've expanded out. So some people, some scientists in Japan, they actually did some research with the slime mold, which is a type of fungus. They put it through mazes, and it's found its way out of mazes without any nutrient to attract it. And they've also done an example where they did a display of the map of Japan in Tokyo, and they put little pieces of wheat bran on all the major cities on the map. And then they introduced a slime mold onto the map. The slime mold grew out, just like I said, it expands first and then it consolidates to make sure that it's using the most efficient energy. out, and as soon as it touched a few of the wheat brands, it went out and touched all of them, and then consolidated and created the most efficient network of travel through the different pieces of wheat bran on the map. And with using this information, they were able to reconstruct the entire Tokyo subway system using way less energy than they were using before. Yep. This is permaculture concepts, and I'll pass these around for people. Permaculture is been going around since the 70s, and it's something that I've been studying myself. It's a design system. But when I started studying permaculture, what you'll see on these papers is the design principles. It's principles that we follow through our design system. And the one thing that I noticed about the permaculture design process is that fungi follows every aspect of the permaculture design process. And permaculture is kind of like bioimagery. We look at nature, it's an ecological design science. We look at nature, we see how it works, we take those patterns and then we use those in our designs. Because nature is the closest thing to perfection that we have. So when we utilize nature's patterns, we create sustainable systems that are durable or permanent. That's what we call permaculture, because they'll stand the test of time. Once they begin, they'll take hold in a natural way. So my interest with fungi grew rapidly, as you can tell, once I started to connect all of these dots. So I'll take you back in history a little bit. About 4.5 billion years ago, when the planet started to form, most of the organisms were only living in the water, in the places that there was water. So 1.3 billion years ago, fungi was the first organism to come out of water and inhabit the land. At that time, it was mostly rocks, and there wasn't any soil, because if we know about anything about the soils that we have outside, is that they're biological material that have been layered and layered for thousands of years until we have to the point that we even have fossil fuels. The fact that our planet has fossil fuels is an amazing feature, or amazing feat. It's been able to sequester a lot of carbon, but it's been able to create so many layers that it's created the fossil fuels that have that such high amount of energy. That's carbon from millions and millions and millions of years ago that has been sequestered by the entropy of nature, the progression of nature. So 1.3 billion years ago, the fungi come onto land, and guess what? Fungi can eat rocks. Fungi can grow on rocks, and sometimes you lift up a rock and you see some fungi under there, and then for the longest time, people just thought it was the fungi that was growing in the ground. But from what we understand now is that fungi can grow on rocks, and I've personally even seen fungi growing on a rusted steel drum out in the woods on the bottom of it, and it was pulling the iron out because of all the iron, all the rust was concentrated in the parts that the mycelium was touching the barrel. And mycelium, some of the different types of mycelium that interact with plants are mycorrhizal fungi, which are fungi that grow on the roots. Myco meaning fungi, and rhizo meaning like rhizomorph or rhizome of a root structure. Then there's endophytic fungi, which there could be up to 200 or 400 species of endophytic fungi living inside of the trees or any plant. Plants host fungi inside of all their leaves and all their stems. And most plants, almost more than 90% of all plants are part fungi. And even Animalia, everything comes back to fungi. Animalia diverged from fungi a few billion years ago. So Animalia and fungi share a common ancestor in our ancient past. Fungi inhale oxygen and exhale CO2, similar to animals, except they chose to digest their nutrients from the outside, as we chose to create internal sacs where we digest our food. So through their cells, through the cell walls, because they're a completely cellular organism, they excrete at the tips different metabolites, which are like their digestive enzymes to break down the material around them, and then they absorb the broken down materials through their cells. And through epigenesis, fungi are some of the most rapidly evolving species or organisms on our planet. Every single tip, which when you look at it up close, there's way more tips than I can even show you guys. I don't know if there's still one that's being passed around. There's so many tips, and they spread out. And each individual tip, I like to use the mycelial archetype as I live my life, because I see everything in the same patterns. Just like a wave, every wave comes in and it's an individual wave, but it's part of the big ocean. Every coral is an individual polyp, but it's part of the bigger coral. And I feel it's like the same thing for every organism and everything that I see. So every little hyphae coming out on the end of the mycelial network is like its own individual little scientist